Hello and welcome to this gentle yoga practice for letting go. My name's Jasmine and I'm going to take you through a 45-minute gentle restorative yin-based practice to really bring that body out of the state of fight and flight and into a state of rest. So we're going to give it just a few minutes and let everybody else join on, and then we'll make a start. Hello everyone, how are we this evening? So no props are needed for the practice this evening, you just need yourselves. If you've got access to blocks and bolsters, they might come in handy depending on where your body is at in the pose, so by all means have them close by if you have access to them. Candles again, optional. So welcome to your gentle restorative yoga practice. My name is Jasmine, for those of you that haven't practiced with me before, welcome. This evening's practice is all based on letting go. So we've just had a really beautiful and powerful super moon in the sign of Scorpio. We had that yesterday night. Those of you that joined me for the ceremony, thank you so much. We worked a lot on releasing things that are no longer serving us and allowing them to move into the past so we can move on and excel in our future. So this evening's practice is going to be based around that. It's dedicated to the same idea that really in order to move forward and in order to grow into the best version of ourselves, one of the best things that you can do for yourselves is release anything negative that isn't serving you at the moment. That does mean a lot of work on the hips. So this is a hip opening sequence, targeting internal, external rotation as well as inner thigh lengthening. Those of you that are used to a more dynamic practice know that this is the restorative practice that works less on the superficial muscles and more on the joints of the body. Anatomically, energetically, we're working through a lot of energy blockages. So it's very, very normal to feel an overwhelming sense of emotion throughout this practice and know that that just comes with the territory of a hip opening. So we're going to start in bound angle, but I'd like you to take a really wide diamond shape. So really take the feet quite far away from the body, soles of the feet come to meet, and you're going to allow the knees to drop out to the side. Now, if the knees are lifted quite high and you feel quite uncomfortable initially, you can place a pillow either side or a block either side and just allow the knees to rest on the block. Automatically what happens here is we tend to round the shoulders down, so feel as if you're squeezing something in between your shoulder blades, and then you can allow the wrists to relax onto the knees, and again that's kind of just encouraging the knees to drop out to the side. If you need a little bit of support from the hands, you can use the hands either side of the body, and that helps with drawing the shoulder blades together as well. So we're coming into this pose to really arrive in our body, so I'd like you to close off the eyes. And just send your attention to the noises that you can hear in the external world. So just aware of any sort of busyness that you might have outside of the space that you're in. Maybe you can hear cars, maybe you can hear people talking. Just acknowledging those sounds. And then make the conscious decision to focus on your internal sound. It's the subconscious mind that talks to you all day and throughout the night. It might be stressed and worried about work or future future plans. It might be anxious, it might be negative or low. Just observe. And now we'll find that neutral focus point and we'll focus in on the breath. So our body's innate ability to breathe thousands of times a day. And we tend to just ignore. So now with conscious effort, pay attention to that breath. Know that your mind will wander. It will trail off and think of external things. But the art of meditation and the skill here is making that conscious decision to draw your focus back. And we will approach our practice with that same intention today. Every time the mind wanders, every time the mind starts to criticize or worry, we'll bring it back to those innate sensations that we feel in our body. In-breath, begin to flutter the eyes open. And we're going to take the hands behind the back. So we're going to place one hand behind and the other. So we're going to hold on to the forearms. Staying with the legs in the position that they're in, take a deep breath in and lift the chest. And then as you exhale, just allowing gravity to do its job, we start to tuck the chin. Just allow the body to sink down. And I'm going to invite you to take a gentle sway side to side. So just take a gentle, easy rock. Almost like a little massage for the back as we just inquire of the hips, how they're feeling. So having the hands behind the back is just allowing you to really experience the weight of your body, the weight of your head. To come to stillness, and you can release the arms and you can take them out in front, either palms turned upwards just to avoid pulling, or palms turned downwards if that's more comfortable for you. So we have a generous angle on the knees here, so a wide diamond shape. And I'd like you to close off the eyes. Just for a moment, stop viewing the body in its physical form and experience the body in its energetical form. So by that I mean notice any sensations, any tingling that you can feel in any posture that we come into this evening. Not concerned about how far you are in each pose. But just really experiencing that internal sensation. Really becoming truly present in the pose. Now with these yin postures, we're going to hold them for about 3 minutes each. So we're here for quite some time. As I said, really working through the connective tissues and into the joints. But I think more importantly, we're working through with that concept of letting go. So notice if your body is resisting in the hips here. Do you feel a protective instinct to contract the muscles in the hips, in the glutes? And if you feel that sensation, maybe repeating to yourself in your mind, it's okay to let go. It's okay to let go. Ready, just slowly we start to come out of the pose, even slower than that. Really enjoy these moments where we can uncurl the body and take a moment to rock back off the sit bones, and you might wish to take a window wiper motion with the knees just to relieve those hips slightly. Take a moment to allow that internal rotation to switch off. And bringing that right leg out straight, we're moving into our next pose. So you've got a couple of options here. We're going to prep this side of the hip by taking cradle the baby. So right hand is going to hold left foot, and then the left hand's going to thread underneath the calf and hold onto that foot as well. And we're just taking a rock with the leg. So maybe you've not quite got hold of it. You can hold the leg in any way, shape or form. It really doesn't matter. We're just working through mobilizing that knee as we rotate it out to the side, shifting in the hip socket. Just guiding it forwards and then out to the side. And then we're going to place the foot down. So the inside of the foot, the sole of the foot sits on the inner thigh, and that knee drops out to the side. For those of you that have a bit more space, you might like to pop the ankle on the middle of the thigh area, coming into half lotus. So it's really up to you where you'd like to place that foot. We're working with dropping the knee out to the side, and if it feels quite lifted, know that you can place a block here just to support. And once again, we're going to take that position with the arms behind the back. So holding on to the forearms, make sure that right leg's released and relaxed. We're not engaging through the leg in yin. And take a deep breath in and lift the chest up, lift the gaze. And then as you exhale, just tucking the chin into the chest. Once again, we feel the effects of gravity. And we're going to take a gentle rocking side to side, just as we did in bound angle. Now, if you're up quite high in these poses, know that you can still work with the rocking of the head. The head is one of the heaviest parts of the body, so really we want to be using it in each pose. Feel you've arrived, you can release the arms, and you can bring once again palms turning upwards, or you can take palms down, but making sure we're not pulling along the floor. So in each posture in yin, we aim to come to about 70%. So those perfectionists amongst you viewing right now, it is against your nature to want to hold back and to resist. It's against your nature to not want to be at your maximum at everything in your life. But sometimes the body responds better when there's a little bit more kindness, a little bit more tenderness towards it. So just notice if the body has a tendency or a preference to want to fidget. Maybe you want to Adjust your clothing, maybe you want to scratch a body part, maybe you want to look around the room. They are all indications that you might have gone too far in these poses. And really, when we come into this yin-based practice, we're looking for stillness. Just a moment of peace and quiet. Last 30 seconds here in this pose. You can start to deepen the breath now. Sorry, somebody called me. Staying in that pose for me. Slowly we're going to start to come out of the pose. We're going to start to walk the arms slowly. As we come up to sitting again, take that time, no rushing here. We stretch out that left leg and we're going to bend the right leg into the body. Left hand comes to hold the sole of the foot. Right hand's going to come underneath the calf and hold on to that foot, and we come into that rocking motion. If you'd like, you can hold on the outside. You don't have to thread it under if that's confusing you. So just take a moment for that hip to really open, thinking about the thigh bone, your femur, as it sits in the pelvis. We're just preparing it for movement, waking it up if you like. And then when you're ready, you're going to place that foot, sole of the foot, on the inner thigh, knee dropping out to the side, and that left leg's released. A lot of the time in yoga will tell you to be active, but really this is a passive practice, so just allow that leg to switch off. Again, you can place a block there for some extra support if needed. Hands are going to come behind the back as we just did, and then take a deep breath in and lift the chin. And as you exhale, just tuck the chin to the chest and start to feel gravity do its work. And you might like to take a gentle rock. Now be intuitive with your movement here. As long as we're not bouncing, you can take any sort of motion you'd like with the body. Just allowing a few moments of movement before we come to stillness. And then when you're ready, you can release those hands. And finding your 70% in the pose. Note that if you came into half bound angle on the other side, you can take it on this side as well. So that ankle is going to be sitting on the mid-thigh. So really working with allowing your muscles, giving your muscles permission to switch off. And again, we're here for just over 3 minutes. Always guiding your mind back to your practice. Notice of any shifts that you might be aware of in the body, any sort of sensations that you can feel. Really be those the thoughts that surround your mind throughout this practice. Really inviting yourself to inquire how you feel. Tingling, of working through, releasing any energy blockages that might be there. We all have them. Last 30 seconds in the pose, so start to deepen the breath, directing the breath into the area where you feel the most tension. Slowly we start to activate the body. We're bringing ourselves up to the hands, and we slowly, methodically start to bring the hands back to the hips. And you can draw the legs into the body. Take a bend to the knees. Maybe you'd like to take a squeeze of the shins. You can just take a moment to nod forehead to knees. Really squeezing those legs into the body. Softly releasing. So we're going to come to dragonfly. We call it in yin, but you might know this as a wide leg forward fold. So we're going to take the legs out to the sides. Now again, in yin we come to about 70%, so don't come into a full external rotation if that is really quite strained for your body. And we're going to make sure the legs are released and relaxed. So don't pull up through the knees, don't flex into the heels, switch the legs off. And just be aware of your sit bones in contact with the floor. We really want to ground through the sit bones, even when we come into this forward fold. We're taking the hands behind the back again. And we take a deep breath in and lift the chin up. And then as we exhale, we're going to tuck the chin in and just inquire for yourself if you can come into a forward fold. Not with a straight back, not with a flat back, we're just starting to round the upper back down. If you need to take the hands away and place them on the floor, you can. But maybe you'd like to take a rock with them behind your back. And you can exaggerate this rock as much as you like as we bring the body closer to the floor. Feeling the weight of the head. Moving with the breath. And then when you think you've found the space where you'd like to rest in this pose, you can release the arms if they're not released already. You can place the forearms, maybe the hands are on the floor. Maybe you've got pillows stacked here and you can rest your head on the pillows. You're allowed to be as passive as you like in these postures. But really we're working with the weight of the body, the weight of the head. And again, turn your gaze away from what you should look like in your physical body. So let go of any misconceptions that you might have of what this pose should look like. And just take a moment to experience what this pose truly feels like. And as the hips start to open up and as they start to respond, maybe you feel that you can take it a little bit further. But again, we find that 70%. And that 70% is different for you, it's different for me.
And if you can really envision where that breath travels to, allow it to travel to the inner thighs. See if you can imagine the inner thighs lengthening with the inhale. And noticing them soften with each exhale. If you feel any searing pain, or if you feel any shaking in the muscles, that's a sign you've gone too far. And those perfectionists out there, don't be so hard on yourself. The fact that you've taken this time to step onto the mat today is a wonderful gift that you've given yourself. And know that wherever you are in this pose, that's enough.
Last 30 seconds here. Nice and slowly, when you're ready, we're going to start to push the body away from the floor. Take the time to walk the hands back, and you might like to bring the legs in one by one. Ooh, clicking and clunking is fine. And take that window wiper motion with the legs side to side. So we have one last seated pose before we come to the floor. And this is probably the most intense of the hip openers that we do this evening, so it's good that the hips are nice and prepped. So I'd like you to come into a cross-leg position. So in yoga we know this as easy pose. But I'd like you to take a stagger with the feet. So one foot is forward of the other foot. Now you can choose to stay here, or you can choose to leave the leg that's in front where it is, and you can place the other foot just above. So we're coming to a half lotus with a bent bottom leg. So option to come into half lotus, option to be in a staggered cross-leg position. Make sure you remember what leg's in front. So we're taking this position. It's also known as fire log, so you might be aware of this as fire log in your practice. Eventually we're aiming to get both shins to be parallel with the front edge of the mat. I'm working on it, I don't know about you guys. We would take the hands behind the back as we do. Take an inhale to lift the chin. And as we exhale, just start to round the chin down. Once again, taking that intuitive motion with the body as we come over the legs. Just rocking into the pose. Worrying about that flat back, not worrying about what we look like, as long as you feel an opening in the hips and we're not feeling any pulling in the knees, you're okay. Taking those arms out in front, maybe you're up on the hands, maybe you'd like to place a bolster in front of you, you can rest the hands there, maybe you're coming a little bit deeper and bringing the forearms to the floor. So really feel a sense of the sit bones grounding into the floor. And we're holding this pose for 3 minutes. So if that sounds like a long time for you and the body immediately contracts just at the thought of that, again, maybe a sign that you've gone too far. Don't be frustrated with the body if you come into this position and you're upright and you're seated and you feel like there's no forward fold yet. You're still in the pose, you're still opening through the hips, and you're still letting go. So we store so much emotional tension in the hips. That's why hip opening is often known as the emotional release sequence. And with the full moon that we just had last night, the moon is excellent at bringing into light the things that we weren't aware of. So often bringing up past emotion, past frustrations, be it your past or be it your soul's past. So sometimes there can be a lot of confusion for us at a time like this because we often aren't aware of where this is coming from. So if we come into these hip openings and you feel an overwhelming sense of any emotion, be it frustration, be it upset, take a moment to acknowledge that and see if you can breathe through it, using your breath as a tool to release those blockages that you might have within you. You might like to take this time now to repeat the mantra to yourself in your mind. It's okay to let go. It's okay to let go. And we have 30 seconds more in this position. Softly we start to bring the body out slowly and steady, walking the hands back. Take a moment, notice which leg is on the bottom or out further and maybe stretch those legs out. Maybe you just want to take a moment to twist the legs, so we rock the legs inside the hip joints and we take that lovely pose on the other side. It's a love-hate thing with this one really, I promise. The first time I came into this polo, I think I hated yoga. And now look at me, I love yoga. So whichever foot is in front was the opposite to the way we had it last time. So notice that it's the other leg in front. And we can either take a staggered easy pose, so one leg is in front and one leg is behind, or we can take fire log or half lotus working towards, and we bring that leg on top. So the ankle is sitting above the knee and it's kind of on the mid-thigh area. Eventually we're working to get the bottom shin and the front shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. That's your true fire log position, and we're always working towards that, but without force or strain. So just take a moment to investigate where this hip is at compared to your other hip. You have imbalances, as we all do. And really ground into the sit bones before you. For the last time, take the arms behind the back, holding onto the forearms. Take a deep breath in, lift the chin. And as you exhale, breathing out, feel the air leave the body as the head drops down. And start with that rocking, gentle sway. This movement can be quite small. Maybe you want to take it bigger as you feel a little bit more free in the hips now. Moving with the breath. At no point do we hold the breath still. ready, you're going to take those hands out in front. Maybe you're up on the fingertips and you're going to stay here. Maybe you're going to start to walk the arms out a little bit longer on the floor. Maybe you're bringing the forearms down to the floor. So we find that 70%. So no searing pain, no agonizing feeling in these positions. We're just looking to gently move the body in these directions. Again, taking note. What emotions come up for you in this position? Do you feel your hips and your glutes contracting to almost resist? And if you feel yourself physically resisting in this position, just inquire of your own body, just see how it feels to let go. It feel to just tell the muscles it's okay to switch off here, it's okay to release. Free up any tension you might be holding in your jaw. Any tension that there might be in the space in between the eyebrows. Have 1 minute left in this pose. So know that if you feel you've gone too far at any point, you can come up higher. You can come away from the depth of each pose if you need to. And just take a moment to reassess. If the mind feels distracted again, we just draw it back. Then slowly we're going to start to bring the body out of this pose, slowly walking the hands back and taking them behind the hips, and you're going to stretch the legs out long on the floor. Take a moment just to allow the legs to rock side to side, allowing them to shift in the socket. And before we take our last pose, we're going to come into a wide leg child's pose. So coming over onto your hands and knees. We're going to take the knees the width of the mat, so really quite wide with the knees, and the toes are going to come to meet. So toes together, knees wide. We're going to sit the hips back to the heels, and from there start to walk the hands away, bringing the forehead down to the floor. Now if the forehead doesn't quite meet the floor, you might like to bring the bolster or a pillow just under here. Maybe you need to put the bolster on the legs so you can rest the hips on a cushion there for an extra bit of support. Now sometimes in child's pose there'll be an encouragement to lengthen the arms away long, but I'd really like you just to relax the arms down on the floor. Maybe you'd like to take a gentle rock and a shift of the pelvis side to side.
becoming heavy here. So breathing in, we feel a lift. And breathing out, the chest feels heavy. And again, breathing in, we lift. Breathing out, we feel weighted. And notice how the whole of the torso moves with the breath. The rib cage expanding outwards. The belly lifting and expanding. And when you breathe out, the breath leaves the body, and the torso comes back and draws together. Nice and slowly starting to activate the body, we bring one hand under each shoulder and softly begin to push the floor away, coming onto the knees. And taking your time, you're going to come over onto your back. We're coming into reclined butterfly, so bringing ourselves all the way down onto the floor. And we're bringing the soles of the feet together. Now when we started, I asked you to come into a wide angle, but this time bring the heels as close to the hips as you can. So there's a lot of a narrower angle at the knees. And we're working with the knees dropping out to the sides. Let's just work through with 3 breaths. We're going to take the exhale through the mouth. So as we inhale through the nose, see if you can just lift the knees. And as you exhale through the mouth, allow them to drop. And again, deep breath in, we lift the knees. Exhale to drop. Last time, deep breath in. Exhale, release, let them go. Closing off the eyes. Maybe you'd like to take a little shift with the knees. Making small circles, small adjustments. As we come into this last hip opener for our session today. Really be aware of the weight of the pelvis on the floor. And feel a sense of your shoulder blades spreading wide. Once again, we send our attention not to the appearance of our physical body, but the sensations that we can feel on our internal body. And what's so lovely about this pose, it's a real sense of surrendering, of giving in. You don't need to hold, you don't need to force or strain. You can just surrender. You can truly let go. And again, sending your awareness to any sort of tingling that you might feel in the body. Any sort of energetical indications that we're working through blockages, that you are releasing what is no longer serving you. Gently we're going to draw the knees back together. We're going to extend the legs out long along the mat. Coming into Shavasana, we take the last pose in our practice today. The most important pose to really digest all that we've just been through. So allow the body to passively rest comfortably on the floor and take a closing to the eyes. Notice how the breath lifts the belly. Notice how it softens with each exhale. And just take a moment to bring into your mind's eye. Begin to visualize something that you want to let go of. And see it in front of you. See the event, the person, the emotion, or the item in your life that you want to release, that you want to be free of. And see a thin gold thread attached to this and attached to your center. This thin thread is the energetical and emotional connection that you still hold to this entity. It's what connects you to it. And now envision yourself cutting loose this tie and watch as the thread recoils and detaches from you. And as this happens, notice any shift in your body, any reaction you might feel to it, any resistance, upset, joy, or relief. Notice and envision your body feeling lighter now, as if a heavy burden has been lifted. And now know that you have taken another step towards letting go. And while this might be your final goodbye, it might as well be one stepping stone on your way to forgiveness and on your way to peace. Starting introduce some movement to your body. Being aware of your physical body in contact with the stillness of the floor beneath you. Begin to energize through the breath and feel this energy sent to each individual cell of your being. When you're ready, you can curl over onto your right side, resting in the fetal position just for a few moments as we prepare to bring the body out to this relaxation. And when you're ready, pushing yourself up and coming to a seated position with me. Taking the hands through to your heart center, coming to prayer. Just taking a moment to be proud of your practice this evening. Proud of all of the energy that you have put into this practice. A moment to thank yourself and a moment to thank your body. Thank you all. Om Shanti. Namaste. Namaste, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining me for this practice on this sunny Thursday, Friday night. Hopefully it's sunny where you are too. Happy bank holiday. If you would like to join me for a power practice, I will be taking a power flow on Sunday at 11. But if you'd like to join me next week, I will be here come rain or come shine. If you have any questions or if you want to pick my brains on anything, then do let me know. And I hope you will have a glorious weekend. All my love. Thank you. Bye bye.